Nice.
All right, so I'm shooting. So whenever you guys want to start, I'm shooting.
All right.
All right. So I'm Randy B, as you all, I think most of you know by now, and I am here today with Carlos. Carlos, you want your full name said?
Yeah.
Shout out your full name.
Carlos Walker.
Thank you. And Prince?
I'm Prince.
You just stick with Prince.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, you know. We are here doing my truthing, and truthing's a time where I feel that you tell your full truth. I feel oftentimes, particularly in the black community, our truths are diluted, or we don't feel comfortable sharing them. We feel that we'll be judged or in any way punished. And so this is a time, because that's not good for our health, mental or physical. It's a time where you absolutely just get to tell your truth. So I've picked out a few truthing cards. The first thing I want to talk about, because we're here in your beautiful, awesome, fly ass, dope, black store, Community Love Hub.
Talk about it.
And so one of the questions I have is I talk a lot about black businesses.
Okay.
Right? And I'm all for supporting black businesses, but it doesn't seem that we do it as well as we should do it within our community, as they keep giving us the stats that our dollar does not stay within our community a long time.
6 hours.
6 hours.
Yeah.
6 hours. And so I wanted to ask you, why do you think that exists? Why do you think that problem of us spending money within our own community exists? Now, I know there's several reasons, but let me know your thoughts on that.
I would say we talk about this all the time. It's just a case of, I think, the ice over there is colder than the ice over here. They have that type of mindset, right? And so, not realizing that our ice is still cold. Both
Just-
ice,
if not colder.
If not colder.
Yeah, if not colder. So, I think being able to give us the opportunity within our own community to be able to, shop with each other and stuff like that. That's big. That's what's gonna change the dynamic of things for us. So.
Prince, I want to go back to what you said, the ice being colder. Their ice is colder. So what you're saying is that black people have been taught, right? Black people have been taught that white is better or a white brand is better.
And I think subconsciously it lives within our minds sometimes that white ice is better than black ice.
Colors, you have something to say about that?
There's an example that's going around with the black Air Force Ones and the white Air Force Ones. And for some strange reason, we always like to point at white is better.
Yes.
Because it's been dynamically or programmed in our mind that
Programmed,
white
I think,
is
is
better.
a perfect word.
But why should we keep making black like it's the worst?
Yes.
Instead of making black where it's the best? Why they couldn't dress in black and say the black outfit is the one that does all the great things, and the white is worse?
Right.
But it's a program.
We are programmed. And, I become so frustrated when I find people, like, we will fight over certain brands. I mean, like, some Italian brand or something. And I was like, and that's programming. Doesn't
programming.
everyone really, or I always tell people, I remember when my mom was one of those black people who got sick of the way she was being treated in America and moved to Europe, right? There was a whole rush there. So I went to Europe when I was young. But I had heard all these terrible things my whole life about Africa, the continent of Africa. I'd heard so many terrible things. And I remember the first time I went to Africa.
Blew your mind.
I was so happy, but I was so angry because I had been lied to. So I was like, all these people, they dream of going to Paris. And I'm like, if you knew Accra was so much better, right? If you really had any idea of, if you went to Tanzania or if you went to Kenya or you would not even, Paris doesn't even compare. You wouldn't even compare. But because my whole life, people think Paris is the ultimate destination, we've been brainwashed. And it's the same with clothing. It's the same with jewelry. It's the same with shoes. And it's like, how do we deprogram ourselves?
I mean, it's a lot to unravel because it dates all the way back to, we can go back to just the Willie Lynch syndrome, right? Or I even heard Muhammad Ali talking about one time, right? in an interview, he was talking about white angel cake and devil
Angel
food cake, right? And just using those terms, what we relate an angel to or a devil to, and then attaching those names to something that looks like us.
Yes.
You know, it does damage, and not even knowing it. Like you talking about the white Air Force Ones and the black Air Force Ones. It's you know, it's kind of funny. You know, they're
Right.
using it
But
on
it
social
really ain't.
media.
But it really, but it
really
ain't
not,
funny.
you know, because you really planting something in people's minds without even knowing that.
Yep.
So, yeah.
How do we change it?
And even to the same way they chose to put it out there, you have to reprogram the mind by propaganda.
Yeah.
The way that they know how to propagandize, they are masters. If you go and look at the master, I think it was they call him the godfather of propaganda. I forgot his name. But you go and just do studies of how these people have learned to propagandize just us
Yes.
in every essence. To your point, what's the worst commercial that you have ever seen, or the only commercial you have ever seen about Africa?
When they had, I'm of the age where Sally Struthers was raising money for children, and she would call it Africa. It wasn't a particular part of Africa, and they would have flies landing on people and starving. And when I was raising my sons, I purposely would never say, eat your food, there's kids starving in Africa. I said, there's kids starving around the corner. There's kids in West Virginia. There's kids, you know, white kids are starving too. And there's kids starving in Paris and in Poland, and Russia got some real poor poverty, serious poverty. I refused to put that in their minds.
So, just with that thought, that's the only commercial that has ever been shown about Ethiopia or Africa in general. You've never seen a commercial where they showed the great beauty of Africa in itself. And because of such, it has been showed, not just because you was in the UK then, in America. That's the only one that we ever know. So why do they show all of these other places, but they never show Africa?
Never.
We will leave here.
Not in a
They're
positive light.
scared. So for me, when you think about propaganda or you think about media in general, the reason why most of your African people come here and think that we don't do nothing, what do they know about us?
Right.
Music, movies, everything that's negative. So
Right.
this is all they have seen, and it's the same thing with us. It's just been propagandized against us.
Over and over
This is
again.
the weapon. And you have to learn how to do the same thing, but with the positive spin. It's contrast to everything. So what we do is show all the black love, show all the black businesses.
That's what I try
And
to
it
say.
has to be on a consistent basis where it's so repetitive that we weed out the bull crap enough
Yeah.
to show the opposite. And what'll happen? Most people don't even watch TV no more. So
They don't.
we have the ability to utilize social media to only show positive.
That's why I think they're part of the reason they want to shut things like
They're
TikTok
scared
down, because we're seeing real
we're
life.
seeing positivity.
Yes.
Yes, there's negative there, but a lot of us are now utilizing it for the positivity. How to start a black-owned business, how to do this.
Yes.
And people are getting rich, black people
Yes.
are getting money. So now use that and put more power to it, and you change our whole structure.
Absolutely. And I would love to see some of the musicians, you brought up musicians, and start rapping about our brands. Like, don't always talk about some Christian Louboutins or some whatever. Like, put our stuff in there, like, and make it the
Make
ish
it
to
the
have.
it.
Yeah, make it the it. Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely.
And I get it. They, you know, they want to be fly and things like that, and want to wear quality clothing, but they try to always associate our brands with something that's not quality.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's not always the case.
And do you feel like we're harder on each other?
Yeah.
Because I feel like when a black business makes a mistake, or we
black
give
person.
poor customer service, it's like people just go hang on to it. That's why I don't go to black businesses, because of so and so. Like, they will ban all black businesses because of one, and I'm like, How many times have you been to McDonald's and the ice cream machine doesn't work? Or you get the wrong order? Like, and this is a major corporation, and they mess up. Why don't we give ourselves grace? Why don't we give each other grace?
Yeah, it's crazy. We always have to go above and beyond. You know, when we created the store, Community Love, we implemented a specific customer service tactic to what we were doing. You know, most retail stores you go into, people hardly speak to you.
That's true.
You know what I mean? But people still flow in and shop, and doesn't matter if somebody's talking to them or not.
Talking to them nasty.
Yeah.
Look at Oprah.
Oh, I mean, Oprah, here she is at this point. She wasn't a billionaire, but she was a multimillionaire, couldn't get a Birkin. They wouldn't let her in, no, Hermes. They wouldn't let her in the store. And there's always these wake-up calls that happen. And it seems like we expect abuse, or we accept abuse when it happens to us from white businesses, but the minute it happens at a black business, it's like,
Come on.
Yeah, we're done. We ban black businesses. We'll just dog us. And I have a rule. I tell people, I said, I always elevate black businesses. Have I had bad experiences at a black business? Of course, but I'm not gonna dog a black business. It's not gonna happen. You're just not gonna hear about it, right?
Facts.
You're just not gonna hear about it. I'm not gonna dog my fellow people.
That's right.
Just not doing it.
I mean, I will say this. I'll say this to all black businesses out there, up and coming entrepreneurs. You know, make sure that our customer service is on point. I know it. You know, we're gonna slack in areas. Sometimes we're not perfect, but you know, we do have to go above and beyond. And with knowing that, you know, let's make sure that we try to do that. Give the best customer service. Let's not, you know, mimic what we see out here. Let's set our own standard.
Set
You
our
know
own
what I mean?
standard.
Because you know, we righteous by nature anyway.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, let's play that part. Let's be that, you know, and we'll be the standard. We always.
And what can customers do you think, to help promote black businesses? Like, because I see it as a part of, I see it as my responsibility, honestly. Because we're not going to support, if we don't support black businesses, I don't know who we expect is.
Yes, fact.
So what do you think, what would you ask? Like, if you said, man, we got to make this a movement, how would you say what people can do better to make this a movement?
Spend your money.
Spend your money.
Number one. Number two, even if a business ain't moving as what your standard is, find out how to go and have a conversation with somebody that can move their thought to a higher level. You ain't got to be disrespectful, get nasty with your words. You can pull them to the side and say, look, this was the problem. And if you fix this, it'll be a lot smoother. We should be able to piggyback off each other, but post. Take pictures in black. Hey, look, if you don't do nothing else, posting is the new wave. Look, post somebody's business.
Yeah.
Post a black business in your city. Look, every city that you go in, post a black business. Let's get exposure to every black business that's in America.
And just to piggyback on what you said, like, spend your money, definitely.
Spend your
Like,
money.
when we started off, we didn't have the best quality t-shirts. We had good t-shirts, right? But we didn't have the best quality, but from the community being able to come in, and it's investing into your community. That's what
Absolutely.
it is. Investing into a black business, coming and spending your dollar with a black business is investing into that business, and in return, investing into your community. So when we first started off, like I said, our t-shirts and garments weren't the best,
Right.
but you know, we did give you something to wear. But by you being able to come in and support us through the months, through the years, stuff like that, we got to elevate, you know. So think about this, Nike didn't start off with the best quality sneakers
Certainly
when they
did
first
not.
started off, but people went and bought them anyway, and throughout the years they was able to obtain that type of quality that they wanted to obtain. And it's the same way with any business. You gotta, like you said earlier, we gotta give each other grace. Like
Give each other grace.
we too far behind in this race, you know, literally to not give each other grace and the opportunity to grow. This is the only way we're gonna catch up.
Real talk. And we cannot have black power without black economic
Come
power.
on now. That's the
what
only
people
way.
don't get. If we don't have black economic power,
Talk
You
about
ain't
it.
got black
yeah,
power.
we ain't got black power. There's nothing we can do.
Nothing.
Yeah,
Ain't
it
a
really is
thing.
just a song.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
And we tired of singing songs without action.
Without action, absolutely. And it has to be a collective movement. I appreciate you brothers talking about it because it's something, it's the only way we're gonna make a change is if we have some power. I told people, I was like, I want right now, every black person's dream is typically dependent on a white person's yes. It's somewhere. Even Oprah. Oprah's production company is not back. It's not just her, the own network. So, you want to get it where we have power to say, I'm going to do what I want to do. I use Beyonce as an example. Beyonce used to just kind of be quiet. She didn't say anything. You didn't know what her opinions were. And then she worked and worked and worked. And now, then Super Bowl, she came out like Black Power because she has the power to now do what she could not do before. Because if we build our own power where we can say no sometimes, or we can provide our own yeses. She's got a couple people she can go to before she's, shut down. That gives us power to make decisions, do better.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what I think we're all trying to get to.
Yeah, because look at every other community out here, they all have an established community within whatever city, town, and we don't. When it comes down to, when you come to our communities, just being real, right? When you come down to the shopping, the convenience stores, the different things, it's always run by somebody else in our neighborhood. But if you go to anybody else's neighborhood, you don't see us having a business in their community, right? And you may catch a little trouble, a little flack from trying to put something in their community.
True.
So, I think we need to, as a community first and foremost, take care of our own. This ain't excluding nobody else or really trying to diss nobody else, but it's us taking care of our own. That's what we need to be doing, first and foremost. And then we can,
you're really just saying, give us the same love that you give to other people.
Yeah,
that's
that's
not
a
saying
fact.
excluding everybody. We give ourselves less love by far. This is proven. The dollars, where we're spending our dollars, what we're shouting out, what we covet, we're showing that we're not showing the same love within our own community.
It's a fact.
And it goes back to what you said before about our program mind, decolonizing our brains.
You got to decolonize your brain.
And accountability too, making sure that the businesses that's within our communities that we support, and make sure they supporting the community.
There you go.
That's a big thing.
Say that again now.
Accountability. Within our community, making sure that the businesses that we support in our community, in return, support our community.
What
big.
example would you give of that? Is there a business you look to that you would say?
I gotta look to our own.
I got one.
Okay.
The church.
The church.
The black church, what it can do, this is one of the reasons why he created this, is because he was in Petersburg, and Petersburg was run down a little bit. And he seen the churches looking good. But there ain't the streets. That's pretty much the people, the government. But if the church took and went outside of their community and dumped some of them funds that they have taken in for years and put it back out there into the community, people will come to the church.
Yeah, that's a
But you have to feed and learn how to feed. I understand we're a young community and sometimes we can be heavy on our people. But when we know that it's been sucked out, put back without asking for anything. And what happened? We will live off of it. To me, if everybody was to give up 10% and then the 10% was put back into the community, guess what happens to the whole community? We all thrive.
We all thrive. Like they do in the Asian communities, they have their own banks. When someone wants to start a business, they help
give
fund
the money.
the business.
The Jewish community, right now, if you're a young Jewish person and you can prove that you are, and you go to Jerusalem, they give you an amount of money.
Wow.
You got to just pay the money back. And this should be our community, but we're not organized as a community. We're
not organized, and then I think it goes back to that programming. Do we love each other enough and trust each other enough?
to build the organization.
Yeah.
And
We got some healing to do.
we got a lot of healing. We do. But we have to start somewhere, and if we're gonna do anything, start in love learning
Start
to
in love,
tell
start in
each
love,
other that
yes.
we love each other
Yes.
until we show it and prove it,
Yes.
which is putting our money into a pot. Let's start with creating $1 billion. What is $1 billion to $1.7 trillion that we spend over a whole year's period?
Right. 'Cause
Spend.
our spending power is strong.
crazy.
Yes.
What they said, number
1.6
is
trillion.
either 8 or number 12 as a nation out of all the nations that we know of.
Yep.
But
So
don't have
now,
a nation of our own.
and ain't
We could.
no, that is our nation,
Yeah,
but
but I'm
we
saying
ain't putting
to
nothing in
spend
the.
it.
We're not
we
putting
got a
nothing in
bank.
ours. Right.
Is being able to be because it was this thing where they named the nations that were able to do it, and all of these nations that they named had a nation of their own.
And we ain't even
Wow.
a
We
nation.
were included in it, but we don't have a nation
nation.
of our own.
Right.
We just spend the way the nations spend without having
A
something
nation.
to put back into ourselves.
Let's
We-
create
Wow.
we sending it out.
Let's create $1 billion.
Let's create-
And let's stamp it. Let's tell everybody, look, let's create with $1 billion. What we are able to do is start our system. And as you start your system, it starts in love.
It starts in love. I believe you. I'm with you on that. It's funny because I do a lot of work, for within the community, and when I post certain things, I have white people come, or they'll say, "Oh, you don't like white people." I said, I just love us. I said, I'm just focused. My whole movement is about love. I really don't have time to hate, like the quote says. I'm really so focused on loving and helping my community. It has nothing to do with hate. I'm honestly not even thinking about you, to be honest with
We
you.
love y'all too, but we ain't got time to be focused on
But
you.
Can't-
they
I can't
always
right
try
now.
to put that on us, though. We don't ever see them putting that on nobody else.
Right,
So what
right.
is it when you try to put that on us when we're trying to love ourselves?
Is the
When
Asians-
you know the situations or the things that we've been through as a people in the country, right? We know that we put in all of this blood, sweat, and tears. Our ancestors, know what was done to us. So, when we trying to get it together to take care of one
Never
another,
hate.
right? Stay out of our business.
Stay out of our
You know what I'm
business.
saying?
Hey, if they don't want to give us
Stay out our
reparations, look, let us
business, yeah.
build our own.
Let us build our own.
But I think we can do it, though.
You do think we can do it?
Yeah, for
I
sure. It starts with the ones that's conscious about it, right? Being the example for everybody else, because people need leaders at times.
Come on.
right?
People need leaders.
And the ones that's conscious of it need to stand up and be those leaders. We talk about
Well,
this.
you all
let's
are
do it.
leading. This is leading. This is
Yeah,
leadership right here. So I appreciate it. And I appreciate the time and the thoughts and the love from this conversation.
No, we appreciate you.
I really want to know what everybody else thinks. This is big. We need to change, y'all. Comment, like, share. Let's get this conversation going.
All that.